All right. So welcome to episode 3. The topic today for Chronicles of a Chef and Father is becoming a teenager and growing into a man. So as you can see, I have 2 teenagers who are growing up to become young men. Kaleo is a junior in high school. Emmanuel is a freshman in high school. And Ocean doesn't qualify for this because she's still in elementary school. Thank God I still have a tiny kid because I really do enjoy that aspect. And I'm still young. So for me, raising teenagers into young adults, one of the core philosophies I can share with you is I never believed in the word teenager. And I believe teenager is a crutch to still hold on as a parent that they're still kids. And I had to change my lens, and it's still hard as I talk about this, to raise a young man and make them become a grown adult without viewing my own children as little kids. And it happens so quickly. And so what are some of the commonalities, maybe you hear it, and difficulty of raising teenagers in today's culture is, it's so difficult. Wait till you get to the teenage stage, some parents would say. I'm going to add this content. And this is something that I tried and I see success, at least with raising young men versus using that T word, the teenage word, is that I had to let go of a lot of the micromanaging of because you're not young children anymore, and be very, very aware that I have to realize that I trained my children well, my wife and I, and so it's beginning to take or let go of the control that I have over my children and using the training that they had growing up. So I had a small window. Now my children have a viewpoint. They have their own opinions. They have their own ways of expressing themselves, and I have to respect it and really let them go. Not that it means I'm their friend. So that's the wrong approach. Yes, I can be their friend, but I have to also be a parent. So part of that is trying to, and I'm learning that, create clear guidelines and expectations. So when are my children supposed to come home if they went out on a weekday? Media, like putting my foot down and saying no social media for these young men. I don't think their mindset is correct for social media at this point. They got the rest of their lives to enjoy social media. I believe that they should focus on more of enjoying face-to-face interaction, which I see them do. I believe that sometimes when you put that screen and you put too many barriers in that phone, it becomes a distraction that children, I see it, don't really interact as much. From time to time, they do text a lot on their phone with their friends, but at the end of the day, they also mix that with interaction with their in-person with their friends, and I appreciate that versus being too involved with the social media platforms. Anything you want to add to that?
My parents didn't let us have any social media growing up, which I thought was great. And I guess because I never ever had it, like I didn't know what I was missing out on, so I never really had an issue where I saw my friends on it and felt like I was missing out. I just didn't care, which was nice. And not everybody would be that way. But now I still don't have it because that's the way I was raised, and I just haven't found a need for it. I think if I was allowed to have it as a teenager growing up, then I would right now be like, oh yeah, but I intentionally would not be one. My parents raised me that way as a man.
I feel like social media can be good for like certain things. There's certain things that it's helpful for or useful for, but if you're just on it like scrolling through TikTok all day, which is something I hear a lot from like my friends or something, like my friends that do have it, and if you're just like spending your time like watching things that are literally rotting your brain, those are the things that aren't helpful, or that can, like, you shouldn't use your time on that.
Well, I guess I was a little bit more of like a disobedient child, and so I did have social media for a little bit of time, and I did that behind my parents' back. And I think, I don't know, I think it opens the door to a lot of things, and I think it brought a lot of, like, I guess, anxiety or fear, or like, I don't know, I guess the reason why I got in the first place was just to feel like I fit in, like I didn't have to be different than everybody else. But I mean, after I, went down that path, I feel like I can say that I don't need it, or like feel like the want to have it. And I feel like being different is sometimes important, and it like helps you stand out as a person, and not being caught up in that cycle of social media and all of that comes with it. You find more freedom, and you can I don't know, enjoy things outside of your phone, and want to go out and have fun with your friends, or go out and have experiences, enjoy nature, go hiking, I don't know, go enjoy the outdoors and your friends in that space. So
Do you how do you feel about soon becoming a grown-up in the working world? And I'm going to definitely have your memoirs here, Nathan, what you experienced, and I'll explain mine too.
I think like the thing I fear most is like not being successful, or like not knowing what's gonna happen. I feel like that's kind of hard. I mean, I obviously have like a plan of what I want to do, but there's like so many variables that could make that not happen, and I guess that's kind of scary.
So you feel like you're excited because you do have a plan and a route to in the work field, but your fear is the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty common. I felt the same way growing up as well. Leo, how do you feel? Because this is about you.
yeah, I guess I could go with Emmanuel and say the fear of the unknown is definitely hard, but I mean, I think it was really hard for me to figure out what I wanted to do, or like find any direction in my life at all. And I don't know, maybe it's not the same for everybody, but it was like a really like an internal struggle to like see myself doing something, kind of have an open mind to it, and figure out what I wanted to apply myself and assert myself into. And I mean, it was hard, and I think we went through a lot of different careers, or like, I don't know, plans for our future. And I don't know, I guess, yeah, I feel like guys have pressure, a little bit of pressure to provide, or feel like you have to be a little successful, or be at least able to provide for a family or kids. And I guess we would always want to be able to be in the right space to do that for the future. And I guess if you think about that a lot when you're young and going through that process, then maybe it like stresses you out a little bit more. That's at least how it was in my experience.
Yeah, I was probably different from most kids. I had my first job mowing the neighbor's yard. I think I was like 10 or so when I went over and asked him if he let me do it. And I always just mowed yards, and I cleaned an office building. And then when I got into high school, I worked about 20 hours a week at a local grocery store. And then starting my senior year of high school, I started working full-time banking as a teller. So I had like ideas that I wanted to be in like accounting, finance related, but I didn't really know what my job was going to be. But I think from a young age, like my parents taught me like the value of work, and I think just going out and working helped lead me to figure out what I want to do. But one of the things that what book I'm reading recently highlighted, two commands from Genesis, in the first couple of chapters of Genesis, which is the man was put in the garden to work it and to keep it. So, regardless of, you're trying to figure out what you want to do, which is, what I was trying to do, figure out, where do I go to college? What career am I going to have? But the basic command that God gave us was to work and eat. And I think just going out and working helped me figure out what I wanted to do. So as you guys go out and start working and trying out different careers or whatever the path they might be, that might give you direction, and just enjoy the work that you have. Even if you're not doing your career that you dreamed of, just enjoy the work you are doing. That helped me a lot.
Yeah, I definitely did not know where I was going to end up when I was in high school. That really scared me, but I'm thankful for food and beverage to carry my career until I decided what I wanted to do. And then these last 2 years of being in human services have really opened my eyes and changed my viewpoint. I love what I do. It's a little mixture of marketing, a little bit of being able to help the community and what we do. And definitely it has changed my viewpoints in ministry, because jumping into ministry has been one of my biggest dreams to do. So I got the best of both worlds. The career change, finally getting out of food and beverage and getting into something that I didn't realize I would be such a match for. And yet here I am doing what I do, and raising the awareness for the community that's here in Central PA. So in summary, the scary thing about becoming a man and growing up and trying to find a career is two aspects. So number one, it's the fear of the unknown, and number two, it's trying to become ready and trained to become an adult in the working field. So being able to have those life skills. But the other thing that I can add too is, as teenagers, even though that word is, they're really young men or women, it's limiting that social media aspect, because it can create a barrier of critical thinking. And so one of the things I'm very thankful is that my kids did accept that rule. And if they wanted to have that after they are grown men, then I would definitely say that they have to not make those adult decisions. But for me, if I were to make a recommendation, I would definitely say steer away from having your kids, even though it's not normal to have social media. If you want them to be good working class adults in the future, we got to look at the future. We got to look at what's best for our children, versus being so caught up on status and things that are happening in their lives, because then they focus too much on the now and not in the future. So that's what I have in conclusion for episode 3. Thank you for joining us and watching our episode of Chronicles of a Shepherd Father.